Hey, we're live right now. This is the Triple Effect. This is the podcast, blogcast of sorts because I'm out here on the road. Just came from Texas and we had a good time, had the family on the road. If you ever have opportunity to travel with 2-year-old, 9-year-old, and your wife and or husband or whatever, and you're on the road for 12 to 14 to 16 hours, that's without stopping. Think about how long it takes while stopping. So yeah, we left out of San Diego around, I think last weekend, about 6 p.m. And we drove until we got to our first stop about 7-8 hours in. And so about 12 that night, we stopped over, got some rest, and left out that next day about 10 a.m. thinking that, hey, we're good, we're going to push through, and we should be able to, get on into Texas. Well, guess what? We did that after we stopped and stopped and stopped. I'm not mad. I'm thinking it's kind of cool because, my son's back in the back, and unfortunately, I got a 2-year-old, so he has to sit in the chair. And I know that's not comfortable, even though the chairs are very comfortable. I think they are. I mean, I haven't sat in one in, 40-something years. But at the end of the day, he's safe, and we're all safe. We fueled up, we pushed on, and we got to somewhere in, like I said, we got past El Paso, which was interesting because just to highlight a little bit about that before I dive into my real topic today, just so you know, the topic we're going to talk a little bit about, there's a lot about the guns and the mass shootings and things like that, so I'm not going to repeat a lot of that, but what I want to do is hit on some of those issues because statistics show that yes, our community is definitely highly targeted in those areas. But interesting enough, when these mass shootings happen, one, the people that's doing it don't look like me, and two, the ones that they target, most of the time it's not one particular ethnic background, race, or culture. It's a multitude of them, and so they basically shoot everybody in sight. But this last one in El Paso was kind of interesting, as well as the one in Dayton, Ohio was interesting as well. So today we're going to talk a little bit about, on the Triple Effect, we're going to talk about community, gun violence. We're going to talk a little bit about these current events, mass shootings, and kind of what my take on what's really going on and how the government is looking at this from a mental health perspective, maybe social media perspective, as well as shifting into a, Manchurian Candidate type setup, or even going as far as red flag policies. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute as well. So yes, today on the Triple Effect, we're going in on issues that matter. So what impacts you? What is your day like? Well, here on the Triple Effect, we want to talk about and keep the theme of the law of balance and polarity. We want to make sure that what shifts to the left shifts back to the right. And we want to keep you close to your core, your center. Places where you feel comfortable, places that if you become uncomfortable, then you know how to react and respond in a way that does not jeopardize your capacity to deliver the goods, to be at your best. That is our commitment to life, is to be at our best. To be thankful for what we have, and to be grateful for the opportunities that come in front of us, and to deliver on our talents and gifts that we've been blessed with. And so today, while we're on the road, got the family, it's an exciting time for me because it is a struggle. You may not understand how tough it is for me to just take the time and get in a car and drive 14 to 16 hours with the level of play, not just noise, but play from kids that when I'm sitting at home and I'm trying to do some work and I hear them, I mean, my heart is happy, but I'm human, and I have a condition as well that any unnecessary noise will distract me, and it will start to eat at my brain, and it will make me feel very agitated. And so I say that to say this: it's a challenge for me to be around crowds and try my best to maintain my equilibrium and my conscience while the noise and the crowds and the surroundings are not conducive to focus and attention. And so it's a struggle. It's very tough. And while I'm trying to drive, if it's at night, low visibility, and trying to pay attention to directions, make sure I'm going on the right streets, I don't take the wrong turns. This is very important, and it's a challenge. And so I knew that when I got on the road, that was going to be a challenge. And I knew the kids were going to do what they got to do, and they're in close proximity. So I definitely had to reach deep. And so that law of balance and polarity, it rings home for me, because I had to find out how to keep close to my center. What keeps me balanced? Whereas I don't go off because of the noise and the loss of focus. And then, if my wife is trying to help me navigate these roads, and I'm trying to focus on these roads to make sure that I keep them safe, and I don't want to be on them too long because I don't want to get tired. I don't want to be, getting to a point where I'm dozing off or anything like that. And then the kids, they're going to do their thing. And how many times can you say, hey, be quiet. Hey, take a break. Hey, don't hit your brother. After a while, it's like they're in a car, in a box, basically, for, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, and, with little breaks in between. But they're in there in close proximity, and they want to play. They want to have a good time because they're stuck right there. And so I have to deal with that, and I have to understand that, and I have to appreciate that. And so instead of getting upset, I channel my energy, and I pulled it together. But my wife was very, attentive to that. So at the end of the day, I just want to let you know that I didn't lose my mind. We did stop enough times to where I could gather myself and get back, into the driving. The kids actually were very good. They had the video games. They had, each other to play with. They acted up a little bit here or there, but at the end of the day, they did great. And I'm talking, like I said, 6 to 7 hours at a time we were driving, and they handled it very well. Now, I'm sure it was uncomfortable at times. And one thing that if you got kids and you've driven across country, one thing is for sure, that there's one question that will come up numerous times. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?